Here in Nigeria, markets traders are gearing up to go on a long Christmas holiday until Wednesday. So the trading week has been a huge gap in naira traded at the parallel market and the interbank OTC. Let's get more of the final trading hours of today with Ayodeji Oyeni, FX dealer with Rand Merchant Bank in Victoria Island, is joining us via phone. Ayodeji, good afternoon. Thanks for coming through on the program.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Good afternoon. I'm sure some of you traders are sitting on the edge of your chair. You just can't wait to close the books. Move out.
Yeah.
Yes. So what's the mood right now? It looks like you folks are checking more your wristwatch than you're looking at the trading board.
Okay, so the interbank market still currently quoting the 315 levels, that's the naira to dollar. But in terms of liquidity, we've not seen so much around the level. So we still have the central bank being the major player in the market. So earlier in October, they sold the 2 months forward, which is largely to manufacturers, and that settled earlier this week. And another auction was announced where, they offered 2 months, 2 to 5 months FX forward as well, but largely targeted at the manufacturers, oil marketers, and the airlines. And the result of that was also announced late yesterday. So, which they sold a considerable amount, which is more to cover the portion that's matured earlier in the week. So, CBN still remains a major player in in supplying liquidity at this point in time. And the cost of 315s are probably we're not seeing so much trade happen at those levels.
Well, Adeji, if you look at the forward FX market, where the central bank intervenes and all that, we haven't really seen much of an aggressive rate. So the key question again is, what's dragging the street naira-dollar relationship towards the 500 end of the curve, as it were? Okay,
and I think the street rates, even though we don't really track it from our own side, but majorly it's not a very liquid market and it's a cash market. So even though it's not recognized, we still have some players in that space. So we can't really link that into what's happening in the interbank market. In the interbank market, the major reason is shortage of supply. And also, another reason you could attribute to that could be the disconnect between the rates and what's happening in the streets. So the street rate has been around the 500 level, interbank at 315. We believe over time, even if the market is left to trade freely, it will settle somewhere in between. So I think that's just the view of the market at this point in time. And at this level, we don't have a lot of offshore investors looking to come in because everyone is hoping that maybe eventually there will be a devaluation and they could get more naira for their dollar. And that's why you see that you see a dip in the level of offshore inflows, even for the last quarter compared to the previous quarters. So that's a major reason why we're seeing a stall in liquidity in the interbank market, even though the rate is currently still moving around the 315 level.
Interesting. It's the final trading day of the week. It's going to be a long weekend holiday. So what are you doing for Christmas?
Just whatever we do, we have to buy Nigeria. We just buy local and we stay in Nigeria. That's the way to go now.
Thank you so much, Ayodeji. Do enjoy your weekend and a long holiday. And again, let's get back together next week from Rand Merchant Bank, currency dealer, Ayodeji. Like I still sticking within the Nigeria, we'll move to the extreme northeast, where night markets have resurfaced in Maiduguri, the troubled capital of Nigeria's northeast Borno state, after the city shut down 3 years ago as residents fled repeated and deadly Boko Haram terror attacks. The militant group has waged a 7-year-old insurgency aimed at creating an Islamist caliphate in which more than 10,000 people have been killed. The conflict has also displaced more than 2.6 million people in the Lake Chad Basin, where Chad, Niger, Nigeria and Cameroon meet. This is a report on what is changing.
Night falls in Maiduguri, the capital of Nigeria's Borno state, and the local markets come alive with shoppers. Maiduguri residents have rediscovered the nightlife that had been shut down due to a Boko Haram insurgency that has plagued Nigeria's northeast for the last 7 years. Many fled the town as Boko Haram attacked residents, homes and businesses in their attempt to carve out an Islamic caliphate. Maiduguri's markets provide work and supplies for residents who have long complained about being neglected by the government.
There was very much crisis and attacks from Boko Haram last 2 years. Nobody can come here by this time. Leave aside this time, even by 5 o'clock, nobody can come to this area by this time. But now, thank God, peace has come now with the efforts of our gallant armies and civilian GTF. Now they have worked so hard to see that peace has come, and now by the grace of God.
Boko Haram controlled a swath of land in the region at the start of 2015, but was pushed out by Nigerian and regional troops that are now in a final push to defeat the militants. Thousands of families have since returned home to rebuild their lives.
We returned home to continue with the trade we left behind. We're commercial motorcycle and taxi operators. People buy the vehicles and hand them to us to operate as a means of survival. We have returned home now that peace and security have been restored to continue the business.
The militant group still stages suicide bombings in the northeast, as well as in neighboring Niger, Chad and Cameroon. Agencies say families have returned to the region to find their homes and farmland destroyed, as well as basic services wiped out. At least 15,000 people have been killed in the Boko Haram insurgency and 2 million displaced.
Let's wrap up the program now. The managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, is in Yaoundé, the Cameroon capital, today to attend the summit of the heads of state of 6 Central African countries. The IMF chief is attending the meeting at the invite of Cameroon President Paul Biya, put together to discuss the region's economic outlook. The 6 countries of Central Africa are Gabon, Cameroon, Central African Republic, Chad, Republic of Congo, and Equatorial Guinea. Inflation up to 7.1% year-on-year in November from 6% the previous month, driven largely by a rise in food costs at the local markets. Food inflation rose 9.1% in November from 7% previous. Businesses and other economic activities have been seriously affected by several months of political violence, sparked by President Pierre Nkurunziza's decision to run for a 3rd term, which he secured in a July 2015 election. And that looks like a Christmas edition of Business Incorporated. I'll see you again on the other side of Christmas. Do have a great day. Bye for now.